You about to write down your next goal? Before you do, let's talk about it today on StaRrow. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your host StaRrow. I'm glad to be back in front of you guys. Today's topic is going to be about why your goals are ghosting you. Goal setting is something that's been desired by humans, I think, for a long time. I don't know if I want to say the beginning of time, but maybe hundreds of years now. Why is it important? As we're living in this society and we're getting more and more information as to how to become, I guess, better people or have more successful outcomes, people are really trying to narrow in on their goals and how to achieve them. Today, I'm just going to talk about some information that I think can help you understand why you may not be achieving your goals. And I want to provide some resources and some education to help you get a better grasp on your goals so you can achieve them. So first things first, did you know that the research says that 43% of the people who write down their goals are more likely to achieve them? So with that being said, if you're the person who wakes up one day and just magically expects to, I don't know, run a marathon and you've never written it down, then I guess you have a 57% chance of failure. Anything for that matter that you want to do and you have not written down, just think about it like this. I'm telling you now, you have a 57% chance of failure. Now, I know that doesn't sound too enlightening, but I'm just encouraging you. Write your goals down. Whatever it is you want to achieve, write it down first and foremost. And the reason why this is the first topic is because that is the simplest thing that you can do. All of us are taught how to write from an early age, from when we were in elementary school. So it should not be that hard for you to write your information and write your goals as to what you want to achieve. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the different kinds of goals that people have. We have daily goals, which those are the regular going to work on time, taking out the trash, cooking dinner, I don't know, having a conversation with somebody you need to, a certain errand that you may have to run. You have timely goals. In the next 3 months, I need to have filed all of my paperwork, or in the next 3 months, I need to have planned 3 vacations, whatever it may be. And then you have ambitious goals, such as running the marathon I was talking about, losing a certain amount of weight. It could be attaining millionaire status or something that's ambitious, something that a lot of people don't necessarily do or is hard to achieve. We have to break down these goals because the reality is a lot of us have these goals. We may write them down, but there's a process as to how to go about all these things. And let's break those things down, right? The daily goals. Daily goals, in my opinion, are things that should be prioritized first and foremost, because those are the things that you have the power to affect immediately. Think about it. Becoming a millionaire in a year doesn't matter as much as you taking out the trash within the next 20 minutes. Because if you don't take out that trash in the next 20 minutes, your house is going to stink. And trust me, you're going to have a hard time getting that $1,000,000. So just understand that. So daily goals should be your first and most important asset, because those are the things that you have the direct control to affect, right? So if you have a long-term goal, you need to look at your daily goals. And these are things that are usually tied to your necessity index, meaning your life, your food, your sleep, those things that you need, your children, those things must be ticked off the list. Now, with that said, I said you have quarterly goals, right? Whether it's monthly or maybe it's every 3 months or so. Those goals need a plan and they need a preparation. And you need to set yourself up for success. The best way to do that is by understanding what you need to get done weekly. Do it weekly, because think about it, you're not going to be able to knock out a 3 month task within one day or within 7 hours. You're going to have to allot a certain amount of time per week to reach that 3 month period, which, if I'm not mistaken, a month is about 4 weeks, and you got 3 months, so that's going to be about 12 weeks. So you have to break that down into weeks. And then if the weeks are too much, then you break it down to 3-day increments. Maybe it's a little bit of an hour of this and that, or 3 hours a week doing something. Just just to give you a better perspective. And again, this is not supposed to be some like scientific explanation. This is just me giving you another voice to hear, just to say, have I thought about it this way before? So understand that this is, you know, anecdotal, a little bit of common sense, but, I just wanted to share that with you. Now, the ambitious goals. Ambitious goals are some of the most teasing things that people deal with all the time. Ambitious goals are the biggest tease you're ever going to see, because the reason why it's a tease is because you get so much dopamine in your brain from the idea of you achieving something that you wanted to achieve for a long time. Now, with that being said, that dopamine comes with a cost. The reason why you get that dopamine is because you know that that actual goal itself is not easy to pull off. So the thought of you pulling it off is what's going to make you happy. But unfortunately, I got to bring you back to the dark side, and I got to tell you that that same dopamine that is making you happy is also distracting you from achieving your goal. Now, why am I saying that? I'm going to bring in two resources that have helped me a lot. We're going to have Ego is Enemy by Ryan Holiday, right? Ryan talks about in this book how ego is one of the worst enemies of humanity. Ego has really hurt a lot of people, and has kept a lot of people back, whether it's talking about your ambitions too much, whether it's not being willing to change your ways. Remember in my previous video, I talked about failure being a great teacher. It talks about just putting your head down and doing the work and not being so worried so much about the outcome and the feeling that you're going to have when you get the outcome. Most successful people usually are willing to put their head down and go to work. And not only are they able to go to work, but they're okay with not getting the recognition. Because let's be honest, a lot of us do things for recognition. So, that's not the whole book, but that's kind of that's kind of the summary of the book. But I encourage you to read it. Very accessible, only 100 and something pages. So look, I flipped it to the side so you can see it. It's not that big of a book. Great resource though. The next resource I have for you is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Now, this book is like a stereotypical self-help book. They're all over Barnes and Noble. It's all over Amazon. It's all up on Kindle. It's on every single reading platform there is. James Clear does an excellent job talking about becoming the thing that you want. So again, if you want to lose weight, you want to lose a certain amount of weight. What's the problem? Okay, let's say you want to lose 50 pounds. You lose the 50 pounds. What's next? He talks about, instead of trying to set these metrics, how about you just become the thing that you want? So if you losing weight is important to you, why don't you just become a healthier person? Why don't you go to the gym more, eat better food? Don't just do it to lose the weight, but just change your lifestyle. Because when you change your lifestyle, these things are more organic to happen, and you won't have to worry about putting the weight back on. Because imagine if you were shoving your face full of food, and then all of a sudden you stop doing that, you lose the weight, then you start shoving your face full of food again. It's all in vain and it leads to nothing. So he does an excellent job of just talking about how we can become the people that we want to be, and how the formation of those little habits will make you achieve those goals without even realizing it, or at least, realizing it over a duration of time and not necessarily expecting it to happen overnight. Now, with that being said, the number one thing I really want to stress is understand that every single big goal has little itty bitty details to it. And while it may not be every day, you need to make sure that when you have a goal, don't just write it down like saying, I want to be the president of the United States. That's never going to happen unless, I don't know. Yeah, well, maybe if you're that person, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking to the future president for all I care. But anyways, you're not the president anyway. But let me just continue now. You have to write down the things you need to do. Maybe you need to get a law degree, right? Get that law degree. How do you get into law school? Get good grades, take the LSAT, study for the LSAT, or, whether you want to be a businessman. Everything has a journey. And if you're not documenting that journey, for example, I want to lose 50 pounds. How many times do I need to go to the gym? What does my calorie intake need to be? There's all a process as to how these things get done. You want to have your own business. Well, what does the process look like? How much money does it cost to start the business? What's the litigation going to cost me? The accounting, all this other stuff. So it's not even about looking at the goals and just having them, but it's understanding what's the work that needs to get done in between. Because what will happen is a lot of people, I think, where we get caught is we have the goal in mind, but then we don't get the in between. And when you don't know the in between, it's easy to get confounded, and then you stop and then you quit, and then you're saying to yourself, I'm frustrated, and why did I have this goal? And the worst part is, going back to Ryan here, if you blabbed your mouth, now you feel bad because now you don't want to tell anybody that, hey, I'm not doing that thing anymore. But it's okay. At the end of the day, when you start a goal, I assume, I'm just going to assume you shouldn't tell too much people off bat. Only tell the people you trust. Not because you're not going to accomplish it, but because, again, if you don't know the in between is, you may be setting people up for disappointment. And usually when you disappoint people, the biggest disappointer, it ends up becoming you. Not from them, but for you, because most people do not like to disappoint people. Most people usually achieve their goals or write down their goals because they want to make other people happy and make themselves the happiest person in the process. So don't cheat yourself out of the process. But anyways, guys, that's really all I wanted to share with you. You know, continue to write down your goals, but just understand, you know, do what's the most pertinent thing. Do your daily goals, the things that need to get done, get those things done. Understand that goals are not just things that happen. There is a process in between. And if you know people who are accomplishing their goals, I guarantee you that they have a really good understanding of the in between. So talk to people who are doing it. I'm sure a lot of us know somebody. As I said again, we're in a friendship depression. I'm sure there's somebody you can make friends with who can help you get from point A to point B and point C. Because there's a lot of people who are successful and accomplishing. So reach out. Um, but yeah, last but not least, make sure your goals are going to make you happy and they're not going to make someone else happy. Because at the end of the day, if your goals are not going to make you happy, well, you know what? Let me take a step back. If your goals are mandatory and you need to get them done, then do them. But if you're doing goals for the purpose of making other people happy and it won't make you happy in the process, keep in mind that that's also going to be a catalyst as to what the outcome of that goal is going to turn out to be. Because we've seen it all the time where people do things, but they don't really want it. And then even if they get it, they quit it because it wasn't what they wanted. Or maybe they can't do it because that's not what they really want. So make sure you check yourself, make sure you know what you want, and then go after that goal. But anyways, guys, my name is StaRrow, and I'm glad to speak with you guys. Comment down below, were there any goals that you tried to set and that you didn't accomplish? And have you learned from it? Was somebody there to guide you? Or have you also been able to accomplish a goal that you once couldn't achieve? Let me know down below. Comment down below, guys. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. It's StaRrow. Peace out.